Hey y'all, you're watching Back Porch Cooking and Reminiscing, and I'm Roger, and I'm so happy to have y'all here with us today. Today we're going to be doing a dessert recipe, and it's one that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and what we're making is a Oreo Cobbler. It's quick, it's so easy that you're just not even going to believe how easy it is. Doesn't take a lot of ingredients, doesn't take a lot of prep time. So to make this Oreo cobbler, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take some crushed up Oreo pieces, and we just put them in a bag and kind of use the meat mallet to kind of crush them up a little bit, but we still left them in bigger chunks, so they're not like pulverized or anything. So looks like we got a hole in the bottom of the bag somewhere, but so I'm just going to pour these straight into this baking dish. This is a 9 by 13 inch dish. So we put them in there, and then we're just going to kind of spread them all out. And if you see any really huge pieces, you can break them up a little bit. But that's, you want them to be kind of big. Like I say, you don't want them pulverized. So that's the first step. Pretty simple so far, right? All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our topping to go on our cobbler. So we've got 1.5 cups of self-rising flour here. We got 1 cup of granulated white sugar. And then we've got of brown sugar, and that's firmly packed. So now we're just going to kind of incorporate this together before we pour in our wet mixture. We've got our dry mixture all mixed up and looking pretty good there. So now we're going to pour in our wet ingredients. So the first thing we're going to put in is 3/4 of a cup of whole milk. And then Audrey told me that I can use the cap of this vanilla bottle to be 1 teaspoon. So we'll put it in there. And don't tell her I added just a little bit extra. She'll never know. All right, and then we're going to just start mixing that together. We got our wet ingredients mixed up, and this is fairly stiff. It's enough that it'll pour out of a spoon, but it's a little stiff, so don't panic if that's how yours turns out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just take that, move the camera a little bit, and we're going to pour that over top of the Oreos. All right, now don't mix this in, but you do want to kind of try to get it a little even over your mixture. Like I say, don't want to mix it. So we got our topping poured over our Oreos. Now we're going to put in, this is a cup and a half of hot water. It's almost boiling, but just not quite. And we're just going to slowly start pouring that water over that mixture. And this is what's going to make your cobbler underneath the batter. Now we're going to put it in the oven at 350, which we've got the oven preheated to 350, and we're going to do it for 35 minutes. So y'all, while we're waiting on our cobbler to cook, Audrey has wrote me down some facts about Oreos that you may not know, because I didn't know. So I'm going to read these to you. It's kind of interesting. It says that Oreos were introduced in 1912 by Nabisco, which was called the National Biscuit Company at that time, in Chelsea, New York. It was originally named Oreo biscuit, not Oreo cookie or what we know it as today. Then it was renamed Oreo sandwich in 1912. Then Oreo cream sandwich in 1948. It was originally created as an imitation to the Hydrox cookie. And I've had the Hydrox cookies before. I think Oreos may be better. They sold for 25 cents a pound and came in a metal canister. And now they retail for around $4 a pound in a plastic package. So there's just little history on Oreo cookies that, like I say, you may not know because I'd never heard of any of that. So now we know. So quick little story about Oreos from my childhood. So when I was little and my mom would buy Oreo cookies, she'd let me have maybe 4 or 5 at a time at the very most, and with a glass of milk. So I didn't know how you were supposed to eat them. So I would always take them and twist them apart and dip each individual piece of cookie into my milk and eat it that way. Because in my mind, I thought that would make my cookies last longer. So question for y'all, how did you eat your Oreos? Did you dip the whole cookie in the milk and take a bite? Or did you twist your top off, dip it, and then dip the part that had the cream on it? All right, y'all. So our cobbler's out of the oven after about 35, maybe between 35 and 40 minutes. And I can hear it still bubbling in there. So we're going to let it sit and cool down for a little bit. And then we'll come back, we'll get some out, and we'll give it a try and see how good it is. It looks and smells delicious. Oh, one other thing too, Audrey wanted me to tell y'all was I was telling you about my experience eating Oreo cookies when I was a kid. She twists them open, takes the cream off, and only eats the cookie part. Now, yeah, I know she's a little strange, but that's how she eats them. So we've let our Oreo cobbler sit and cool now for about 20 or 30 minutes, and it has the filling has firmed up. But this is what it looks like, and guys, I'll tell you, it looks and smells delicious. So it's time to give it a taste test. So I got my bowl here, and we're going to get us some of this Oreo cobbler, and we're going to give it a taste. Guys, that is delicious. It is very sweet. Um, I don't know as to what we couldn't cut back on the brown sugar a little bit. It's super rich, so you're not going to want to eat a whole lot of it at one time, but it is very, very delicious, especially if you love chocolate and you love Oreos. And the topping on it has got a crunchy consistency, but it is delicious, and it would be a great dessert, especially for something like a church night or a church picnic, um, family reunion, a get together where you're going to have a bunch of people over. It's quick, it's easy, and it's really good. So hope you all will try this, make it for your family, share it with your friends. And remember, if you haven't already, click on that like and subscribe button. Also, leave us a comment on about how you ate Oreos when you were a kid. And remember to click on that bell too when you subscribe. That way you get the notifications of when we put new videos up. All right, guys, y'all have a great one, and we will see you next time. Appreciate you being here.